Good day, everyone. By the way, I am Jillian Empasagi, so I am a first reporter in Chapter 10 Evaluation and Sustainability in OD. Previous chapters have discussed the different phases of organization development, including diagnosis, as well as designing and carrying out OD interventions. However, organization development does not end with the implementation of interventions. Rather, the OD process also includes evaluating the changes and ensuring the success of interventions. So, this chapter explains the rationale behind the evaluation and sustainability of OD interventions by reviewing both Western and local literature. It then examines the realities of Philippine organizations and the factors that influence their ability to evaluate and sustain change. So finally, it suggests ways by which organizations can develop a culture of evaluation and sustainability. So first, let's talk what is evaluation in OD. Evaluation involves providing feedback to practitioners and organization members about the progress and impact of interventions. In other words, evaluation is an ongoing process to determine the extent to which changes are integrated with everyday routines within organization. So, such informations may suggest the need for further diagnosis and modification of the change program, or it may show that the intervention is successful. So, in addition, evaluation is considered as an important part of the OD process since it provides the assessment of organizational change interventions. It also provides feedbacks which shapes the development, implementation, and sustainability of organization change interventions. Evaluation helps us to determine our impact and the value more effectively. It can also contribute to a growth in our capability and confidence, or it might even shape how we do organization development. So next, recent studies on OD emphasize evaluation practices as valuable learning mechanisms for organizations. So some of these evaluation practices are inclusive and people-centered, such that they enable empowerment and participatory, perceived as responsive and sensitive to the needs of different stakeholders. Next, let's proceed the approaches to evaluation. So here, there are two modalities in conducting evaluation. So it can be formative or summative. First, I will discuss the formative evaluation. So here it is mentioned that the goal of formative evaluation is to provide valuable inputs to guide planning, development, and implementation of specific initiatives, policies, or programs. So meaning, ang primary purpose day ani nga kind sa evaluation is to gather information that can be used to improve or strengthen the implementation of a program. In addition, formative evaluation can foster a culture of continuous improvement and learning within an organization. By gathering feedback and making adjustments, organizations can improve their processes and outcomes over time. This can lead to increased efficiency, effectiveness, and innovation. Formative evaluation can also be used to assist in policy and management decisions that results in incremental changes designed to improve existing policies and programs. For example, this type of evaluation is often helpful for pilot projects and new programs, but can also be used to monitor the progress of ongoing programs. And now let's proceed to summative evaluation. So here it is mentioned that the goal of summative evaluation is to understand and measure the impact of programs at the end of an operating cycle. So meaning ang primary focus jud ani nga type of evaluation is to determine whether the program or project achieved its goals and objectives. In addition, summative evaluation plays an important role in assessing the overall effectiveness of a program or project and in informing decisions about future development and implementation. And also, it is an essential tool for promoting accountability, transparency, and effectiveness in program or project implementation. So, for example, health interventions. A public health agency may conduct a summative evaluation of a health intervention, such as a vaccination campaign. The evaluation may focus on the impact of the intervention on health outcomes, such as reduction in disease incidence, and may involve collecting data from multiple sources, such as healthcare providers, patients, and community members. And now let's proceed to the models of evaluation. So beyond formative and summative approaches or evaluation, there are other models widely used by OD practitioners in evaluation. So these are Kirkpatrick's level of evaluation, Holton's evaluation model, balanced scorecard, and appreciative inquiry approach. So, beyond those models of evaluation nga mention ako earlier, logic models can be used as a tool for evaluation. And take note that si Ms. Marco na mo elaborate ani nga topic. Now, let's proceed to the first model of evaluation, which is the Kirkpatrick's level of evaluation. This evaluation was created by Donald L. Kirkpatrick, and it is the most cited in literature and usually applied in the context of training. Particularly, Mr. Kirkpatrick suggested four increasing levels of evaluation. So here makita nato sa figure ang four levels of evaluation. Wherein, ang level 1 is reaction, level 2 is learning, level 3 kay behavior, and level 4 results. So, level 1 refers to participants' feelings or satisfaction toward the program or intervention. Level 2 looks at whether important information is remembered and understood by the participants. And level 3 validates actual learning and application of knowledge by the participants in their job. And lastly, the level 4, which is results, it is also called as bottom line or organizational impact, which refers to improvements in goals or desired business outcomes. Next, we have Holton's evaluation model. So this model attempted to improve Kirkpatrick's model by accounting for intervening factors like readiness, motivation, design, and reinforcement on the job. So, particularly, the inclusion of these variables aims to explain the discrepancy between positive outcomes and absence of real on-the-job behaviors. So, that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. This is me, Angelica F. Marco. Now we're going to discuss four topics under Chapter 10, Evaluation and Sustainability in OD. So let's start the Balanced Scorecard. What is Balanced Scorecard? A balanced scorecard, it is a strategic planning and performance evaluation management system. It also provides multi-level communication channels for discussion in evaluating the process of an organization. So, the balanced scorecard concept is a management and measurement system which enables organizations to clarify their vision and strategy and translate them into action. So, both Kaplan and Norton worked on a year-long involving 12 top performing companies. So, in an organization may use the balanced scorecard model to implement strategy mapping to see where value is added within an organization. A company may also use a balanced scorecard to develop strategic initiatives and strategic objectives through assigning tasks and projects to different areas of the company in order to boost financial and operational efficiencies to improve the company's bottom line. So we have a four perspective of the balanced scorecard. First, we have here financial or stewardship. So as we can see, financial or stewardship, it views an organization's financial performance and the use of financial resources, such as sales, expenditure, and income are used to understand financial performance. These financial metrics may use to understand these financial metrics may include dollar amounts, financial ratios, budget variances, and income targets. The second is customer and stakeholders. This phase views organizational performance from the perspective of the customer or key stakeholders. Um, the organization is designed to serve, and then the customer provide feedback about their satisfaction with the current products. The third one is internal business process. So this area, it views the efficiency and quality of all organizations, performance related to the product, services, or other key business process. This area also evaluated by investigating how well products are manufactured. And lastly is organizational capacity or learning and growth. It views human capital, infrastructure, and technology culture, and other capabilities that are key to breakthrough performance. This phase handles on how well information is captured and how effectively employees use that information to convert it to an competitive advantage within the industry. And then for each perspective of the balanced scorecard, there are four things are monitored. These are the key elements of the balanced scorecards. First, major objectives to be achieved. So example is profitable growth. Next is measures. Measures the observable parameters that will be used to measures progress towards reaching the objective. So, for example, the objective of profitable growth might be measured by the growth in net margin. So next is the specific target values for the measures. Like for example, 7% annual decline in manufacturing disruptions. So next, initiatives. Projects and programs to be initiated in order to meet the objective. And there are benefits for using a balanced scorecard. First, focusing the whole organization on the few key things needed to create breakthrough performance. Second is helps to integrate various corporate programs such as quality, re-engineering, and customer service initiative. The third one is breaking down strategic measures towards lower levels so that unit managers, operations, and employees can see what required at their level to achieve excellent overall performance. So, Copeland and Norton cite the following benefits of the usage of the balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard, it also provides management with valuable insight into their firm's services and quality. In addition to its financial track record, this allows the firms to communicate their goals and priorities in order to meet their future goals. And then JD Power Survey is one of the most example of the balanced scorecard. This firms provides data, insights, and advisory services to help companies identify problems in their operations and make improvements for future. JD Power does this through survey in various industries, including the financial services and automotive industries. The results are compiled and reported back to the hiring firm. Now let's talk about the appreciative inquiry, or AI. Basically, appreciative inquiry also developed in the early 1990s by David Coperider and Suresh Rivastra. So what is a appreciative inquiry then? It is an approach to organizational change that focuses on strength rather on weakness. It also a positive approach to leadership development and organizational change. It can also be used by individuals, teams, organizations, or at the societal level. So, appreciative inquiry also helps people more towards a shared vision for the future by engaging others in strategic innovations and or further develops the best of what is in organizations in order to create a better future. So many traditional methods begin by focusing on pitfalls and problems, whereas appreciative inquiry asks people to explore strengths and success that already exist both internally and externally. And then we have here the components of the appreciative inquiry. First is discover the best of what is and what makes it that way. So, the participants explore the best of what is, identify the organization's strength, best practices, and source of excellence, vitality, and peak performance. Second is dream. Dream what could be the vision for the future. So the participants envision a future they really want, a future where the organization is fully engaged and successful around its core purpose and strategic objectives. Third one is designs. Designs a plan to realize the vision based on best practice. So the participants leverage the best of what is and their vision for the future to design high impact strategies that move the organization creatively and decisively in the right direction. So lastly is destiny, or sometimes also called deploy. So participants put the strategies into action, revising as necessary. So an example of AI process or appreciative inquiry process. Imagine your manufacturing company that wants to develop your capacity for innovation in order to expand research and development and earn more market share. So here in discovery phase, you'd find example for of your company has been at its best around innovation and then identify the common factors in these stories. So in dream phase, you'd invest time in thinking about what a truly innovative organization would look like. How would leaders, resources, behavior, and physical space, organizational process, and etc. change? And you would work to create a vision for the future that is invigorating and inspiring, something you truly want. And then once your vision for the future is clear, the next phase will ask you to design the future, what steps are needed to reach that vision. In this phase, you get as strategic and tactical as possible and engage the support of others in creating models as possible and in models and prototypes of different elements of your future mapping steps and identify required resources. So lastly, in destiny phase, your team will work to implement your vision, to implement your design, to make the vision reality. So now, let's talk about the logic model. So what is, no, basically, logic model, also known as um, theory of change or theory of action. So, logic model, what is logic model? Okay. A logic model is a graphical presentation of the relationships between the parts of a program and its expected outcomes. It also a framework for program planning, implementation, and evaluation. So, logic model, a graphical illustration of the relationship between the programs, resources, activities, and its intended effects. Logic model clearly and concisely show how interventions affect behavior and produce desired outcomes. So, you can develop a logic model for an existing program or create one to help define and plan a program for future implementation, whether the program exists or will be implemented. A logic model is an essential part of the evaluation process. Simply put, you cannot evaluate a program unless you have clearly defined what the program is and how it is expected to work. So ideally, a logic model is a one-page representation of what the program is doing or expected to do and what you expect will result. So why do we need to create a logic model? We need to create a logic model for us to create a common language among evaluation team members. So it ensures to all the that all and stakeholders, especially evaluation team members, share a common language and understanding of what the program is and how it is meant to achieve its expected outcomes. Next is to showcase connection between program and components. So, logic model, it's clarifying the relationship between resources, activities, outputs, and outcomes. Building or refining the logic model may prompt conversations that help to clarify all aspects of the program, such as such conversations are vital to identifying how the program will achieve its expected outcomes. Next is to support every activity of a program evaluation. So the logic model supports every activity of a program evaluation, and you will find yourself referring back to it as you plan and implement each step of the evaluation. So we have the components of logic model. So here, the three components in violet, which are the resources, activities, outputs, it describes how the program is structured. And here in color blue, short-term, mid-term, and the long-term outcomes. It describes what the program is expected to accomplish. In other words, these components answer the questions: what outcomes do you expect from the program? And now let's go to the evaluation methods. What is program evaluation? Okay. Evaluation is a systematic collection of information about an intervention's activities, characteristics, and program outcomes. So, evaluation are a systematic assessment of the operation and or the outcomes of a program, intervention, or policy. The collection of data, analysis, and usage of information and analysis results with the purpose of making judgment about the program and intervention and or policies, effectiveness and efficiency, and giving recommendation for areas of improvement. So before starting an evaluation, the evaluating team should determine a methodology for conducting the evaluation. So, conducting an evaluation can be done in 6 steps. First is establish stakeholders, explain what the program is about, select the design of the evaluation, collect data, generate conclusion based on data analysis, and the last one is state findings and provide recommendations. So, establishing the methodology of the following 6 general steps for conducting program evaluations. So, evaluators shall also comply a policy and standards. This sets of guidelines is called the Quality Standards for Inspection and Evaluation, or QSIE. So why do we need to evaluate program? We need to evaluate program for us to gain insight and to improve practice and to assess effect and to build capacity. That's all.
A pleasant day, everyone. My name is Mitzi A. Alberto, and I am the third reporter for the Chapter 10. For the continuation of the report, I'll be discussing the sustainability in OD. OD stands for Organizational Development. This is the next logical step after evaluation is sustainability or institutionalization of change. When we talk about sustainability, it focuses on value of creation, environmental management, and environmentally friendly production system. Sustainable change endures and becomes strategic when it is not dependent on just one person but exists within the culture, embedded in the mindset, activities, and system of the organizations itself. Cummings and Worley, 2005. Sustainability needs to be viewed as a continuum of activities, continuous improvement of work methods, an organizational system, and consistent achievement of performance targets. Buchanan et al. 2003. For example, for this is you look for a paper supplier that uses only recycled materials and their product to take care of all of your company's printing and mailing needs by doing business with another sustainable company. You save paper and contribute to a culture of being environmentally conscious at your business. Next is the OD intervention. OD intervention, the use of team building strategy to change group dynamics or diagnosis and management of intergroup communication. For example, for this is large groups such as employees and stakeholders. Although OD interventions may be spearheaded by a few people at the start, sustainability requires participation of the entire organization. Each member prospers and manifests needed change, allowing members of the organization to join in sustaining the change momentum. Next is study on sustainability in the West. As early as 1947, Kurt Lewin highlighted the importance of institutionalizing change. These are the three steps. First is unfreeze, second is change, third is refreeze. So, unfreeze is a universal, constant, modern business will be as we all know. Change management in organization depends on how well people in the organization understand the reason for the change and the process of implementation of the change, and last, expect of the change once change is implemented. According to Lewins, change must be happen only when there's a strong motivation to undergo the change. So, ang unfreeze, this one, melt the block of ice process. And change, pour the water into the spherical mold. Next is refreeze, to freeze the mold to get the desired spherical shape. So, let's connect it into a business world. Ang unfreeze is preparing for the organization for the change that's about to take place. Communication about the reasons for change will be declining sales, poor customer service scores, high employee turnover, and greater operational efficiency. Para ma-meet na to ang atong goal sa ato ang pag-change is we should to create a vision for the change and outline key aspects. Next is communicate the vision. Third is encourage feedback. Permanency of the new label or permanency for a desired period should be included the change objective, allowing change to become embedded in the system. So, Lewin's framework was built was built on by other theories such as Lippitt, Watson's, and Wesley 1958. There are 7-step method emphasizes that change must be sustained and that communication, feedback, and group coordination are essential elements to do this. Communication feedback allows the process involved in the change to be clarified, enabling group coordination and involving each member of the organization in the transformation. So, organization characteristics. Organization characteristics, it refers to a sense of alignment of management philosophy and values with of the employees, values and skills. Intervention characteristics refers to the broadness of specificity of intervention goals. The example for this is organization wide or within a department. The type of consultant and sponsorship of the change coming from the top management. Important to change implementation are structural aspects of change such as the goals of the change intervention and the critical rules like team building, work groups. Coulter, on the other hand, in his seminar article, Leading Change, Why Transformation Efforts Fail, in 1995, he identifies two factors. First one is a conscious attempt. Second one is top management personifies. Next is Western studies have identified possible hindrances to enculturating change in the organization. By the turn of the millennium, more studies identified factors influencing sustainability. So, leading change is the two factors, and then next is Western studies. Western studies describe phases and contribute the sustainability such as political factors. For example, for this is the external and internal stakeholders influence. So when we talk about internal, it is the inside of the organization, and external is outside. It is the collation and power structures within the organization that decide cliques and small group interaction. Individual employee factors such as levels of commitment, together with the competencies, enable sustaining change. And lastly, leadership. Actions such as getting the vision and organization goals. Cummings and Worley 2005 describe a 5 steps process in sustaining the change. First one is socialization. So, socialization is makig-socialize ka with your employee, mga kauban mo sa work, managers, imuhang mga managers, and then sa imuhang co-members or mga stakeholders. Next is the commitment. Commitment dapat naakay connection. It's important in the organization nga naakay commitment sa uban. Giving intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. So kani siya, ang intrinsic is kabubuton ra na nimo nga buhaton nimo na nga task, or kanang walay ga ingon nimo nga buhatan na siya but imuha ra na siya nga kabubuton nga mubuhat ana. And then ang extrinsic is kanang buhaton na nimo but pagkahuman nimo buhat ana dapat naa kay sa tawag ani nimo naa kay rewards inog kahuman nimo buhat. Devotion of the intervention from one system to another. So dili lang kay mag-focus lang ka sa usa but mo-connect na siya sa uban. Next is sensing and calibration. It involves detecting deviations from desired continued change. Local studies on evaluation and sustainability. In contrast to robust Western literature, local research in OD evaluation and sustainability practice in the Philippines is sparse. Few researchers to evaluate programs, OD intervention in different settings, both in private and public organization. Most of these researchers were done at the graduate school level, such as those done by Lagona 1998, Marato in 2004, and Nabatar 2011. Sustainability in social change initiatives of the Ateneo de Manila University by Anne Margaret A. Jordan. So, as a Filipino educational Ateneo de Manila University aims to contribute to the development goals of the Philippines through the formation of the youth into leaders for service. First one is partnership. It's very important because it involves two or more businesses teaming up for mutual benefit related to sustainability goals. So institutionalizing its kind of achieving sustainable development depend of good governance practices, implementation of the National Sustainable Development Strategy, which integrate government decision making in the economic environmental, social spheres. Role modeling is the last. Be a good role model when you work in the different organization. So that's all of my report, and thank you.
So, hello everyone, good day, especially to our instructor, Ma'am Angeligante Torres. Good day, ma'am. So, I am Ana Rose Tivoyna Flor. We are the last reporter of Chapter 10. So, the first topic, which is drivers. A study on OD in non-government organization or NGOs and people's organization or POs found that a major factor in increasing sustainability of OD intervention is creating a mindset and culture of readiness for change, according to DJUS and Riaz 2005. This requires creating a culture of learning and continuous improvement to allow the organization to prosper. Such as culture necessitates that creation of spaces within the organization where individual members, leaders, and managers build their capacity of continuous development. Since 1990 defines sustainability as the organization capacity to continually expand its ability to create its future. Such as OD processes move towards bringing out a more reflexive organization capable of adapting and managing change and complexities. So, when we see the drivers in the organization and POs, is mauni ang mga guideline which is nagahatag po siya sa OD processes to share the sa mga non-government organization and people's organization. So for example ani kanang mga employee nga mag-training, then strategic alignment para mo expand ang nga maong organization. So in a similar study of Cars and Walls 2005 developed a framework based on the communities of practice in the Department of Education, which is DepEd, across 3 regions in Mindanao, Region 6, 7, and RMM. They found that a key aspect of the strategic resource for building capacity and improving organizational performance is stewardship, which entails sustaining momentum through natural shift in practice, members, and technology. Conferences and concurrent sessions were done to share information, knowledge, achievements, best practices, as well as insight to allow the change inculcate to continue within DepEd. From this point, each member consider how to sustain the momentum of change, how to practice can be extended beyond organizational boundaries, and how they can use the information they shared. This promoted a sense of ownership and confidence and enacting and change. This offered deep aid and promise of sustaining improved organizational performance. So nag-focus ni siya sa Mindanao, term promise of greater social and economic development. So, management and other members of the organization nag-use po ni siya sa mga principles and elements as benchmark to monitor, evaluate, and decide whether the cooperative is moving close towards optimal performance. So, she recommends that the aspect of governance and assured on a system approach. Furthermore, there are also assured to allowing everyone in the organization to predict and become accountable for the change. So, the next one is a survey on evaluating and sustaining OD intervention conducted by the authors among 24 OD practitioners from various corporate and non-profit industries found that recognizing human capital as valuable in the organization is central to evaluate processes. So, in addition, training on how to evaluate was deemed important by respondents. So, the respondents also shared the importance of the following. So, mao ni dapat ang i-improve. First is a determined and committed top management endorsing efforts in OD by ensuring long-term change. Second is having continuity of programs aimed to improve the organizations. And the third is upscaling practitioners and HR representatives. So, mao ni siya ang sa mga nag-guide sa survey of evaluating and sustaining OD intervention. Then the next one is challenges. Despite the drivers of evaluation and sustainability, there are the challenges that visit these two OD facets. First is long-term and the second is short-term. So, in a various multi-country studies, found that having a long-term orientation help people prepare for the future. Unfortunately, the Philippines scored low in these dimensions, which suggests the Filipinos prefer short-term. So solution and fail to sustain this solution for the long term. This was echo in a local leadership study there where Filipinos rank lower compared to other global leaders in terms of strategic judgment, persistence, planning, and analytical thinking. It was further reflected in the study of leading organization transformation in the Philippines that are the short term. orientation of the Philippines organization, make it difficult to create long-term and systematic transformation that is vision-driven. So, challenge in the organization, for example, ana is kanang naa kay nag-struggle sa usa ka organization, so dapat naa kay buhaton which is ang long term nga nagka-problem i-adapt nimo ang short term as a leader para naa dayon maghimo ka og plan and analytical thinking para ma-solve ang usa ka struggle sa usa ka organization. Then the next one is enabler using the Ateneo card model. Then, based on the stories of organizations that successfully transformed, the Ateneo Card 2012 created a model to show factors that enable organization transformation and sustainability of change in the Philippines organization according to Hicanova and Franco 2012. So, naani siya, nagamin na siya sa mga drivers. So, these are the three types. The first is change management practices. Requires leaders to provide clear direction and have the political will and plans to see that change through. So, when the employees must be also included for the change effort, regular consultation and communication strategies that are sensitive of the nuances of the Filipino culture are vital in the following employee to communicate their truth and share knowledge that might drive and sustain change. So, mao na siya ang mga dapat nga i-change effort in the employee. So the next one is organization culture. The change initiative can help shape people's attitude toward change. So for instance, when employees know, understand, and accept the vision, they have better appreciation of change decisions, thus having good quality relationships between management and their employees can aid in developing in this appreciation toward change. Employee and unit goals that are aligned with larger organizational goals produce accountability and will work well if toward are given. Furthermore, an organizational culture of the creativity empowers people and allows them to engage with a generation of ideas. In turn, this generation promotes continued implementation of the change. So, it is important jud ang sa usa ka organization nga naagay kanang good quality relationship. Then finally, the last one is leadership are critical in safeguarding sustainability. Critical leadership behaviors and competences in sustaining change require modeling and desired behavior, promoting the change, having courage and resilience, create trust, sensitivity of people, flexibility and judgment, and monitoring to ensure progress. Heifetz echoes these competences in his call for adaptive leadership. So, that involves the ability of continuously diagnose the organization and its contents. Adaptive leadership also involves the ability to encourage through rethinking and working towards solution to promote learning. So, dapat sa usa ka organization as a leader, dapat kabalo ka nga mo monitor in the other employee para successful ang mao nga pagdala sa usa ka organization nimo. So Thank you, everyone.
Question: what are the factors to be considered in ensuring the sustainability of any OD interventions?